good. So do you want to go ahead and give an introduction yourself, when you graduated and what your name is?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I appreciate you having me today. I really enjoyed my time at PC. I thought I would be coming in to study biology with the intent of going to medical school and becoming a trauma surgeon. So that's like what I always wanted to do. Really hefty goals, I know, and it's funny how God has a way of just showing you the difference between his plans for you and your own plans for yourself. So I was in biology for 2 years and then was just really unhappy in my classes and did not feel like it was where I was supposed to be. So 3 weeks before my junior year of college, I had a phone call with Dr. Smith and was talking about plans to potentially switch to business, something that I was always interested in, but never really thought I'd be end up pursuing. So 3 weeks before junior year, I dropped all my biology and chemistry classes, picked up all business ones, and ended up graduating with my degree in business administration and a concentration in management. And then I have a minor in biology. So I was involved in the SAM Club, was a resident advisor, worked in the Springs gym a little bit, and then played quite a few intramural sports. One of my favorite PC memories was I was able to go to England on the Maymester. So if you guys have the opportunity to study abroad and or do a Maymester, I 100% recommend it. It is awesome just to have that experience.
It's awesome. I need to go. I want to go this last year.
Yeah, you should.
With my classmates, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us, you told us about your academic background. Tell us about your professional background, where you started, where you went after you graduated, where you learned.
Yeah. Before I jump right into where I am now, I kind of want to share what I've been doing since I graduated PC. So I finished college in December of 2016 and moved to Augusta, Georgia in January of the next year to start my first real world big girl job. As an executive team leader at Target. I'll refer to that today as an ETL. So if you hear me say that, it's for executive team leader, which is really just an assistant manager to a store. And I got plugged into that through networking opportunity at PC. Coach Crocco, who was with the baseball team while I was there, I think he's still there. His wife runs the Simpsonville Target store and thought that I would be a really good fit for the job. I was looking for something right after graduation. And I ended up going through 4 interviews and got offered a position right after graduation. So I was there at Target for 15 months and got a new opportunity to do marketing for a company called Textron Specialized Vehicles, which is a division of Textron Inc. And if you've might recognize some brands from there, EasyGo golf carts, Cushman utility vehicles, things like that. So I did marketing there, worked on collateral, writing copy, updating brochures. We got to do some trade shows, so I traveled a little bit with all of our equipment, and then we also set up photo shoots for vehicles and where to go, what kind of shots to take on what sort of holes. And then I was also part of working on a Jacobson used equipment website. I'm going to pull up some pictures for you.
I'm ready.
Kind of show you, let's see. So this is from my time at Textron on the golf courses, setting up our photo shoots, and then all of the equipment that I worked with, they were huge, 16 to 21 foot mowers. So I had to drive them off of our trucks and into showrooms, which is kind of crazy, but a lot of fun. So that was a part of my job was working with our product managers and honestly, just getting to know everything you could possibly know about these mowers. Not a super glamorous job, kind of doing marketing for that, but really fun just to be in something that was so different from Target, and something that was just new. Kind of got to absorb all sorts of information and try my hand at a new, not being in management, but into marketing. 4 months into my position there, I got laid off with 200 other people after a reorg of the company and a brand new CEO. So kind of crazy how it all happened. I definitely enjoyed my time there. But all of this landed me to where I am now, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina. and I am managing a Rita's Italian Ice and frozen custard store.
Wow. It's a lot of transitions, and
Yeah.
that 4 months is such a short period of time to be in a new job and then be out of a new job.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you get started at Rita's? So you said something
Yeah.
about parents.
Yes. So the transition was like really challenging, just trying to transition from management and marketing and then kind of like not having a job. My parents were franchisees to Rita's Italian Ice stores back in 2009 in Columbia, South Carolina. And then they got one in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2018. So after I got laid off, it was kind of like the perfect opportunity just to get back to my roots, but in a new city. My dad was very adamant about me not coming to Rita's until I had outside experience after college. My dream was always kind of like to go back to Rita's and run the stores, but he definitely did not want me to just go to college, graduate, and then come back to it because it's all I had ever known after working through high school and some of my weekends in college. So thanks to Target and Textron, I got some outside experience. Obviously, the whole situation happened not how I expected it to, but it ended me back doing kind of what I loved, and I'm happy to be back.
Good.
Yeah.
So what is your role there, and what are your regular responsibilities as a manager?
Yeah, lots of fun. So I've been involved with Rita's for around 12 years now, just like in and out from high school, college, and all of that. If you see me in my store, you'll think that I'm just like scooping ice and serving custard to customers. But it's a lot more than that. So I help run the Charlotte store and the Columbia stores location. So I have a team of around 15 team members in my store specifically, interviewed, hired, and trained all of them on all best practices and protocols. I track and submit inventory orders. I schedule around 200 hours of labor per week for our teams, set up all like mobile catering events, and we have a contract with the University of South Carolina in Columbia. So we also do like football games, soccer games, softball, anything that has like a stadium Rita's is involved in. So setting up all of that and getting our trailer, which you'll see in the bottom right corner, is where we kind of take like two events and host at corporate parties and birthday parties and football games, all of that. Lots of fun. I have a lot of flexibility in my schedule, which is kind of nice, allows me to kind of work when I want to work and have things outside of the store. So like doing scheduling and inventory, I don't necessarily have to be in my store to do. We're a seasonal shop and business, so we really grind for like 9 to 10 months and then are off for a couple months, which I know sounds like so glamorous, and it kind of is. You have some time just to reset and kind of get things done and like prepared for the new year, which is always really fun just to have something like different to look forward to.
What are your off months?
So we are normally off at the end of November and then December and then part of January. So like the winter months, think we're like ice cream and Italian ice. So our busy season is in like the summer and spring months. So towards the end of the year, we have some time off, which is really nice because it's like the holiday season too.
Is that just your branch, or is that nationwide?
It depends. So Rita's as a corporation has the option to be seasonal. So there are some stores that operate year round just on different hours. And then other stores who are for sure only open from March 20th, which is the first day of spring, through like the end of October. So we're kind of in the middle of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think our Asheville branch may be closed during the winter too, but we also, a man, I guess, I don't know if he was the manager or just an employee, but he would come to our basketball games and serve Rita's. So
Yeah, it's always fun that there's like that option to do.
yes. Mm-hmm. Well, how did your other job experiences set you up for success now?
Yeah, I definitely gained the most experience from my time at Target. I'm going to show you a couple more pictures from Target with my team. So you'll kind of see, I'm all the way in the back of one of those pictures, but that is from Black Friday, which obviously is a crazy time in the retail world. But we had a wonderful team and lots of fun to work with. I have tons of stories from Target. On my first day of training, I watched a man attempt to push out 2 flat screen TVs without purchasing them. So that's kind of when I knew that my time in the retail world was going to be like filled with so many memories and just like all sorts of crazy stories that you hear about, but don't like actually think they happen, and they definitely do. I watched the big red ball go rolling down the sidewalk, not once, but twice. So you'll see that in the other picture. That really does happen, and we have to like get it back and put it back in its place. I called 911 for a fire in our parking lot and also for an unconscious man in the bathroom. My boss and I had to stay at the store on Christmas Eve till like 2 a.m. because the entire lock of our door like fell off, so we couldn't secure the building. And I kind of like say all of this because it's nothing that you learn in the textbook. Like you really have to learn just like think on your feet, and things that are thrown at you as a leader. You kind of like have to game plan, make a solution, and either make a solution as a team, or if you are the leader, you're like trying to figure out, okay, what do we do from here? Like, where do we go? How do we fix this? And what kind of solutions do we have? And going from there, like all jokes aside, but I made some of my best friends at Target. I worked like 50 to 60 hours a week with these people. So I was always with them. And I know it sounds like crazy hours, but we were in a $38 million store, which is a really high volume store for Target. My team specifically had like 30 team members on it, and I had 3 direct reports. So I was really close with them and worked really closely with them to make sure that our front end was operating. My job specifically was over the front end, which is, if you think about Target, anything in the front of the store. So like cashiers, guest experience, cart attendants, if your Target has like Starbucks or cafe or anything like that, they were also on my team. Had a very diverse team, lots of team members who were like 20 or 30 years older than I was, which was a little intimidating at first, just trying to figure out like how to manage people who are older than you, how to like make sure that they can respect you, but like you're on their team too. Like I'm not here trying to be the bad person. And I think something that PC taught me really well was just the importance of community. I think at PC, you do have like such a close-knit community, and that was really important for me to have outside of college and going into the real world, that I really tried to work with my team and like building just a team where like we could all trust each other, and we were spending all this time together. So like kind of how do you build that community within the walls of wherever you are a manager? So I kind of like had to balance the line between being a friend, being a manager, and what that looks like. But something that I've taken from Target, and I also do at Rita's, is just getting to know your team, like what makes them tick, what makes them work well. Target does this really cool thing in the morning. It's called a huddle, which is where everyone gets together and we share like our sales goals and metrics. But we also have a time of recognition where your peers or your team members can like shout you out for things that you might have helped with the day before or that week, and just like how appreciated you were. And I think something that is really important as a team is that you can like share these wins with each other. And if like somebody did something that was really well, like you let them know. And not everybody likes to be recognized in a verbal way. So maybe that's like, hey, I just want a high five and you to let me know I'm doing a good job. Or, hey, I'd love to have a written note that says, hey, great job with this. And I think that's just like really important to have in that kind of culture. And when you're in a team setting, that you can share those with each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, what life lessons or advice do you have for current students?
Yeah, I kind of have a lot, so I'll kind of keep it short, but embrace change. You never know what is going to happen in your job, in your life, whether that's like a change in strategy, or like I had a change in a company that involved a whole new CEO, and then I was not having a job anymore. But you just kind of have to embrace it. Like you can't like stay on the ground trying like where you don't get up. Like you kind of have to figure out what is your next game plan. Like, where are you going to go from here? And also just to do what makes you happy. And I know that sounds so cliche, but I saw it early on when I was in college that I was not happy, like where I thought I wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. So I made a change to do that. And you just have to do whatever makes you happy, not because people tell you that that's a good field to be in, or you make X amount of dollars doing this or that, but because it's something that you're truly passionate about and want to do.
Good advice. Good advice. Everyone needs to hear that. And lastly, do you have a favorite business book or one that you would recommend for students?
Yes. And I'm going to pop this on the screen too, just in case anybody wants to like write it down or something. But I don't know why it keeps going back to this first one. A couple books, but Outliers, I don't know if that's still part of the PC business department or not, but if you haven't read it and it's not part of the PC curriculum, definitely recommend reading it. Abby, is it still there?
The book or the screen?
The book.
I have not read it. Maybe this year. I don't know if it's coming, but.
Okay, well, if you don't have to read it, I definitely recommend reading it. And I also recommend Dave Ramsey's Complete Guide to Money. It's an awesome book for getting out of college and into the real world and how to manage finances, something that you learn a little bit of in college, but then you get into the real world and you're like, oh my gosh, I have all these bills to pay and I don't know like what this looks like. So definitely recommend doing that. And on the same sort of line, I recommend a podcast called Borrowed Future, which is about the student debt crisis. Very interesting take, even if you're don't have student loans, but just really interesting to hear what is happening in the world. And then my schedule is always changing and really crazy. So I put 3 email news at the bottom. One is Morning Brew, one is called The Hustle, and the other one is called The Skim. Morning Brew and The Hustle are both like more business oriented news. We'll give you like stuff on stocks and Fortune 500 companies and all of that. And then The Skim is more like just what's going on in the world. But they're really great, just 5-minute reads in the morning, kind of like know what's going on in the world before you start your day.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us and telling us about your experience.
Yeah, of course. I really appreciate you having me.
I hope we get to talk again soon, and maybe I'll see you at a Charlotte event.
Yes, please. Come visit.
I will. If I'm in town, I'll come to Rita's.
Sounds good. See you there.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, Abby.
Bye.